Welcome to rSlash Ohnoconsequences, where OP discovers the incredibly stupid reason why she had to endure a lifetime of abuse. Our next Reddit post is from Throwaway. For whatever reason, my parents didn't want me. Once they had my brother, Adam, I was pretty much ignored. They didn't abuse me, but I was pretty neglected. Let me just jump in here real quick and say that neglect is abuse. Everything was about Adam and how smart he was, or how athletic he was, or how he was just the best thing since sliced bread. Then there's me, a pretty average kid who got decent grades, didn't play sports, wasn't super popular, and liked to read books. I can't tell you how many times I heard, "Why can't you be more like Adam?" What made me cut off my family was when they didn't attend my high school graduation. Adam had gotten hurt that morning, a sprained ankle, I was eventually told. And our parents rushed him to the emergency room because he swore up and down that he broke his leg. I only got one text from my mom telling me they would make it up to me with a dinner to some family restaurant that I mildly enjoyed. I was done after that. I had been used to being neglected or forgotten about, but I thought they would at least attend my graduation. I moved out that summer to go live with my cousin, who's 30, and her wife in Arizona. Then I blocked them, and they haven't been in my life since. My family did try to get into contact with me after I left, but it was mostly just telling me I was a bad daughter and overly sensitive and that I didn't care about Adam. Years later, I still don't have any contact with him. I'm now married to my husband John, who's 26, who loves me and treats me like I matter. We also have a daughter who's 2, whom I love more than the world itself. I have a close-knit group of friends and a job that makes decent money that I enjoy. I'm not saying my life is perfect or a dream or anything, but it's definitely leagues better than my childhood. Which brings me to last week, when my cousin called to tell me that they had a message from my parents and my brother. Instead of the usual blame game, my cousin told me they wanted to apologize for everything. With Father's Day coming up, they were hoping I would come down to visit with my family and we could have a discussion. I know most people would scream, "Don't! It's a trap! They want something from you!" But I'm not so sure. For one thing, none of them have ever reached out to apologize for anything towards me. But I still have connections to my extended family, so I have info about my parents and Adam from them. None of them are sick or dying and need an organ, and they're not in debt and need help with finances. My parents aren't hoping to retire and want to be supported. Adam doesn't need help with student loans, so it could be genuine. Then, 2 weeks later, OP posted an update. Even though a lot of you warned me, I was just too curious to not talk to my family. Still, I told my cousin to tell them that I was not meeting them for Father's Day and that I wanted to do a Zoom meeting instead. I was expecting them to pitch a fit, but they agreed. Yesterday, we met on Zoom. Long story short, my mother is a revolving door and both my parents are idiots. To make it a longer story, my mother had an affair with my Uncle Rick, my dad's 60-year-old older brother. And she was caught after she found out that she was pregnant. My dad forgave her and agreed to raise me as long as they never did a paternity test. Apparently, it was easier to act as my father if he didn't have confirmation that I was his brother's child. Spoiler alert, I am not my uncle's child. Unfortunately for me, I've always been my dad's biological daughter. Rick apparently can't have kids, and my dad only found out on Mother's Day when Rick's wife made a joke about it. So my parents just resented me all this time because they were convinced I was Rick's child despite not having proof. It didn't help that I was just so mediocre compared to Adam, like how Rick is compared to my dad. What I mean by that is, Dad has a fancy desk job in a titled position, and Rick is just your average truck driver. So clearly that must have meant that I couldn't have been my father's child. They begged for forgiveness. My mom tried to blame my dad for not taking the test. My dad tried to blame it on my mom for being a truck stop for Rick. But they both wanted me to forgive them because they were sick with regret of how they treated me over a misunderstanding. They swore up and down that even if they weren't always there for me, they still loved me and were still my parents, and we can be a real family now that the misunderstanding was finally cleared up. Even Adam was pushing hard for it. People asked about our relationship in my last post, but there's really not much to say. He was like a roommate. I was never bullied by him, and he didn't really interact with me, though he definitely reveled in our parents' favoritism. Still, they were all very sorry, but I just had to understand why my parents acted like they did. Now, everyone wants to make it up to me and be part of my life again and be the best grandparents and uncle they can be to my daughter. I obviously told them no. Anyone with eyes could see that they just wanted forgiveness and to make themselves feel better. I told them that my life was better without them, and I didn't need them anymore. They got mad at that and called me heartless and cruel and a bad daughter for being so unforgiving and for not being more understanding towards them. Because it was just a mistake that I had a terrible childhood and had to play second fiddle to Adam. I just told them to forget I existed and ended the call. Then I burst into tears and my husband had to comfort me. Their insults didn't hurt me, but even after all this time of no contact, I'm used to that. But all that time feeling awful and suicidal and wondering what I did to deserve my mistreatment was just a waste. All because my parents are massive douche canoes with chicken nuggets for brains. I'm glad I didn't waste money to go see them. I'm also glad I heard them out for my own closure. They're trying to aggressively reach out and contact me, even getting other relatives to do so. I've already got a bunch of emails and texts this morning ranging from them pleading to just hear them out and insults about being cruel and heartless. I've been ignoring them because I've washed my hands of my family and will continue to remain no contact. Okay, down in the comments, Ruby Bob says exactly what I was thinking. So, Dad forgives the cheating wife and the backstabbing brother, but somehow can't even pretend to like an innocent child who knew nothing about their affair? F that! Right? Why blame an innocent baby for your stupid decisions? What a bunch of idiots. Our next Reddit post is from Deleted. My 14-year-old son loves to bake, and he's really good at it too. He started with simple things like cookies, but now he can bake just about anything, from bread to pies, even cakes. Sometimes, friends and people we know will ask him to bake them something, and he'll charge them a small fee. My mother has always hated the fact that my son loves baking. She doesn't understand what kind of boy enjoys doing things that are meant for girls. Ironically, his younger sister hates baking. I tried explaining to my mother that there's nothing wrong with my son's love for baking, and that she's being sexist. But my mother is stubborn and always makes sure to mention just how much she doesn't approve of it every chance she gets. She was visiting us for a few days, and I came home from work to find my son distraught. When I asked him what was going on, he told me that he came back from a friend's house only to find that his baking things had disappeared. When he asked his grandma, she just said that now he can find a new, appropriate hobby. He has a specific kitchen cabinet where he stores all of his baking things, and sure enough, it was empty. They weren't in the trash either. I asked my mother what she did with my son's things, and she proudly told me that she got rid of them because I was clearly not going to do anything about it, and that I was a bad father for allowing it to go on as long as it did. These were approximately $200 worth of items collected over a period of time. Hand mixer, scale, measuring things, pans, etc. I told her that the only thing I've allowed to go on way too long is the constant disrespect for my son, and that she needs to apologize to him and either bring back his things now or replace them. She stubbornly said that she's not going to do that, so I told her that first thing in the morning she needs to leave, and she's not allowed back here or around my children until she learns to respect their choices. She huffed and puffed all night and left in the morning. She was originally supposed to leave on Sunday, the day after my son's birthday. She even took the gift she'd bought him and left with it. My stepdad called me to let me know just what a piece of garbage he thinks I am for treating my mother this way and kicking her out like some random stranger. I told him that she did this to herself and hung up. Our next Reddit post is from Food Goose. Am I the butthole for making my girlfriend pump her own gas? So I'm a 28-year-old guy and my girlfriend is 27. We started dating, and anytime she drove and had to get gas, I would pump it for her. Well, last week she took me to work because her car does better in the snow than mine. When she came to pick me up from work, she was wearing pajamas, which were shorts with a long sleeve button-up. She even wore her house shoes. I was embarrassed for my coworkers to see her like that, so when she stopped for gas, to teach her a lesson, I told her my back was sore and she could pump it. She said it was too cold and she wanted me to do it. She's the moron who wore shorts. I stood my ground, and she pumped her own gas, but wouldn't talk to me during the drive. We passed a sushi place on our way home, so I asked her to stop. She said no, but I kept persisting, and she finally said okay. She told me I would have to run in, so I did. When I came out, she'd left. I told my brother because I needed a ride home. He gave me a ride home, but said that I was a butthole and deserved it. Then OP posted an update. We live in a fairly rural area, and I work about 35 to 45 minutes away. Apparently, my brother called my mom, who then called my girlfriend and told her what I'd said. This did include me calling her a moron and saying how embarrassed I was. When I got back home, my girlfriend had moved all my clothes and belongings into the junk room. I tried to talk to her, but she locked herself in our room and ignored me. When I finally got her to talk to me, she basically listed everything I've done wrong in our relationship. This past week has been hell. She wouldn't take me to work when it was snowing, so I had to take myself, and my car got stuck twice. I missed 2 days of work because of her pettiness. I really didn't think that I was the butthole here, but I tried to justify and explain myself. I did admit that I was trying to teach her a lesson, and we broke up. When I got home from work, she had all my belongings in boxes by the front door, and I guess that's that. I really didn't think that I was the butthole, but obviously that's why I posted here. Everyone that wanted us to break up got what they wanted. Then OP makes a post on r/legal advice. Can I take legal action against my girlfriend for kicking me out? My now ex-girlfriend and I got into a petty argument and broke up. She kicked me out of the house, and I want to know if there's any legal action I can take. The house was a gift from her parents, and it's in her name. But she kicked me out without any warning, causing me to have to move back in with my parents, and I simply don't want to live with them. Is there a way that I can make her have to let me move back in? The detail about how OP's work is 45 minutes away is super relevant because that's 3 hours out of the girlfriend's way. 45 minutes there to drop him off, 45 minutes back home, then again, so that's an hour and a half, and then again for 3 hours. So she was actually being super helpful, and she dogged on him because she wore pajamas? Who cares? Our next Reddit post is from Embarrassed Pen. I'm a 15-year-old girl, and I was home alone a few months ago, and my mom's bracelet that she got from her late sister went missing. My mom accused me because we'd had an argument before this, and I couldn't prove her wrong. So she grounded me for a year. Threw away clothes, books, birthday gifts, anything that wasn't an heirloom or necessary. All the chores went to me. She broke me up with my boyfriend and texted all my friends' moms to tell them to keep my friends away from me. She made me wear shorts at home so I couldn't steal anything and hide them on me. And I had to either leave the room or stare at the wall when the TV was on. This continued for 2 months. She found the bracelet under the couch. She'd left it on the coffee table and it fell off and rolled under. I screamed at her louder than I think I have in my life and ran off. She offered me anything, and I got several games, a pizza, and some new clothes. She asked if there was anything else she could do, and I said, leave me alone until I turn 18 and leave forever. She begged me to forgive her, and I just said that she's failed and there's no use trying. She started crying really hard and kept saying please over and over. I just walked off and went to bed. My little brother confronted me a bit, but says that mom feels really bad and asks if it would be pleasant for either of us to live with such bad feelings between us. I feel like my words hurt and I've broken my mom. Am I the butthole? Yo, grounding a teenager for a whole year over a gut feeling is crazy. I actually think this is abusive, especially the whole you're not allowed to have friends thing. What's especially weird to me is that OP has a little brother who presumably also lives in this house with them, right? So why is OP taking all the heat and the little brother is taking none of the heat? What a scummy parent. That was r/Ohnoconsequences, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.